have a huge impact in Keaton Park's career right now because Benfica have been hurt. They've also had struggles in the Champions League. And he's been playing. So, there are opportunities. But will Bruce Arena had picked Gonzalez?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So I think that definitely failure of qualifying for the World Cup. But it's also, I think, the coaching not picking younger players or having the chance. But Klinsmann did a pretty good job of that.
I mean, yeah, we talked about it. I mean, Klinsmann, not even the younger players, the overlooked players, like the Miguel Ibarra from the NASL Minnesota United. Who would have... You think Bruce Arena would have picked someone from the NASL? You're crazy. You are crazy if you think that.
I don't think he would have picked anybody outside of certain clubs.
I don't think he would have picked anyone.
I feel Bruce Arena, anytime he picked a European player, maybe outside Christian Pulisic.
He was probably triggered.
That, or he felt like he had to, not because they were good, is because he knew that people would be pissed if he had his way, it would have been LA Galaxy 2.0.
My thing is this. Do you think Jonathon Gonzalez would have been called up if he was playing the same way as he is right now? 18 years old, starting center defensive mid in MLS. Do you think he would have been called up?
No, not at all.
I think opposite. I think he would have. I think.
Wait. Same way playing in MLS?
Same way playing in MLS.
Yes, absolutely.
I think he would have because you know why? Yeah.
Like Jeff Cameron. Midfielder for Huddersfield.
Danny
Williams. Article on Stars and Stripes, I believe, commenting on how Bruce Arena neglected certain players in other leagues and almost favored MLS. And this kind of goes into what Martino and Ronaldo are talking, and in a large part, Lapointe talking about this connection between USSF and MLS, and this kind of plays into it. But Danny Williams was overshadowed and overlooked because he didn't play in MLS. So he felt like that. I guarantee you that because he was playing in Mexico, he was overlooked. If you were playing in MLS, it'd be a different story. Question is, what if he had played in the second division in Holland, or if he had played in the championship, like, say, where DeAndre Yedlin or Williams played? Would he have been overshadowed? Probably so, in large part. But because he plays in Europe, I think among European... among fans... No, because if he would have played in Europe, among fans, we would have actually had been more...
exposed to him, you think?
Yes.
Kind of like what we've seen of Keaton? Kind of like what we've seen of all the Europe...
Moore.
Yeah.
Shaq
Moore, all these guys.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how many Mexican Americans are playing in Liga MX.
I think plenty. I really do think plenty. The problem is I do think we overlooked them because it's Mexico.
Yeah.
And the league is good. I think the league is very underrated.
Is it number one league in North America?
Easily number one league in North America by far. MLS is working its way up there, and
it's closing.
I think Atlanta United slowly helping to close that gap. But
I think
Liga
Toronto
MX is,
too.
Yeah, Toronto too. Liga MX is a top league. I think
got Gignac, who played at the European Championships.
They're doing what they have been doing for the longest time, what MLS is doing now by going to South America and raiding talent. They've also developed talent in Mexico and sold them off. People want to go play in Liga MX. Do people want to play?
We're going to take a quick break here. It's a shortened episode, listeners.
Shortened.
We, as you know, unfortunately, we had a little technical difficulties with Hercules Gomez. We're gonna have him on We're gonna have him come on at a later date.
Yeah.
We are in person together,
staring at each other,
just staring at each other. So we hope you enjoy it. But follow us on Twitter. Follow our assistant producer Jake Watroba as well. He got some hot takes.
Well, that was our Jonathon Gonzalez talk right there. Got a little feisty.
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 I'm going to talk about deep soccer.
Yeah,
talk.
I mean, this is deep soccer culture. But today, well, what day is it today?
Friday, January 12th.
Yep, January 12th. It's made official. Ezequiel Barco, the 18-year-old, is now officially headed to Atlanta United. Independiente's team in Argentina, they said, okay, he's gone. They've released a tweet. It's the largest transfer in MLS history. $15 million plus 30% of any future sales before 2019.
Which is only a year and a half away, I guess.
But here's the catch. If he stays until 2020, 10%.
So it's a weird clause. I don't know why they would. Why? If I'm Atlanta,
so I guess they're
fleecing. It's a fleece because I doubt Atlanta sells him within 2 years.
Here's my thing. I guess they're hoping that. I think they're banking on a really high potential, and the fact that he'll sell for a large transfer fee. I think, for example, if he sells for what, like
50,
60, they get 20 million. They would get 20 million if he sold.
But
for
do you
60.
think Atlanta would sell him within that 1.5 years?
If they get a $60 million offer, I think they would. I think it's for those ridiculous offers. His value will only go down, I think.
I mean, yeah. I think it's a great deal if you're Atlanta United. I just don't see him selling within the year and a half.
I don't either. And if you're Atlanta United...
Like, it's a year and a half because of the...
And if you're Atlanta United... Sorry to interrupt you. If you had an offer for 20 million and let's say he... Or let's say 30 million and let's say he goes up to... Or let's say you have a $35 million or you can sell him next year for 30. You just rather sell him for 30.
Yeah. I say a year and a half. It's actually 2 full MLS seasons.
And maybe he wins back-to-back MLS Cups. Maybe they go far in the playoffs. Maybe they don't do good. It depends on the circumstance.
I mean, he's 18,
the clause is kind of bizarre, I think, though.
No, I see why, but, I mean, within the 2 years, so I say a year and a half because you have the weird windows, and I wonder if he gets called up for an Argentina World Cup qualifications. If he does... I guarantee you he'll be sold. Though I just don't know if he'll go for the 60. I think he's more likely to go for what Almiron has been rumored for, in between 15 and 30. And I think that 30% scares Atlanta United. If they sell him for above 40, if you're Atlanta United, I think you'll be okay with that.
I think Atlanta United,
but
they're really pushing the agenda.
They are, and I mean. This individual, 18-year-old Ezequiel Barco, held out. He wanted this move to go through. That is a detail that needs to be absolutely printed at the MLS headquarters and sent out to every street corner of Soccer America because, hello, MLS, this is breaking news. This is the biggest transfer, and this just changed the league going forward.
Forever. Now it's a destination league. People want to come to MLS. Young South Americans want to come to play for young South American legend coaches. You have to say Tata Martino played a key part in bringing him in.
Good question here. Coaching suddenly is a draw. If you get a good coach, it matters.
I think, and so would you say this? Do you think Barco's attracted by a good Latino coach or a good coach?
That's a good question because Bob Bradley, is he an attraction?
For some, I feel like, but I don't think he has the same draws as Tata Martino.
But Tata Martino has the Barcelona connection, and obviously he's Argentinian. So and the national team, he has connections within the national team. So if you're an American, Bob Bradley probably has an attraction. But say Brad Friedel with the Revs. Does he have an attraction? That name is kind of recognizable if you're young. But
Brad Friedel played in the Premier League. I mean,
that too.
Oscar Pereira.
But what about Oscar Pereira?
Depends. If you look at him on just a solely name standpoint, no.
If
you look at his developmental status and whatnot, yes.
But what about Brian Smelcher?
I would say he wouldn't be the biggest draw. I would say the biggest draw would be the culture around Seattle. the soccer culture in there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the biggest draw. I think for Atlanta, everything. Stadium's a gorgeous stadium. You have potential to have 70,000 in like 4 or 5 games a year.
Doesn't it help that the team is new? It's shiny. You have the flair of how the team goes.
They play I guess
it's
a Latin style play, quote unquote.
Quote, but it's also kind of Dutch. It's also Spanish. There's that Spanish flair. That's the Dutch flair of this free-flowing total football. Johan Cruyff. Obviously, Tata was at Barcelona. The Cruyff imprint, that's a Barcelona motto. It's total football. They want to play that. So I think it has a huge impact. Now, I'm just not just suggesting anything. I don't have any connections. But let's say Laurent Blanc, because right now he's unemployed, connected with the national team. But with that, if he were to come here, do you think he has the same pull? Because I think having the Hispanic or having the South American flair at the head coach suddenly becomes a highlight.
Laurent Blanc isn't South American, though.
I know, but he does. If you know soccer, you know he's an important coach.
Yeah, if you know soccer, you do. I think that Latin American connection is very, very crucial for certain teams.
Because moving from Argentina to the United States
is nothing like
is nothing. It's hard.
Hard, yeah, exactly. I really like the move, and like you said, I think coaching becomes a very big part of. Oh, hey, look, we have former Argentinian national team and Barcelona coach Tata Martino, or look at Oscar Pareja. He got Fabian Castillo to play for the national team at some point, or Gruezo has been called up for Ecuador. I mean, you can go on and on. If Bob Bradley does well, and who was it? Like Carlos Vela gets called up, Zimmerman, all these guys. Like, oh wow, he's getting teams to their respective national teams.
Didn't LAFC sign a youngster? They did.
Yeah, but I can't remember. Diego Rossi.
Diego
Rossi.
Yeah, I believe so, but I'll look it up.
Yeah, I mean, people need to I think coaching has become a very, very big part in recruiting key players to come play for a respective MLS side. I don't know about you, Steven, but
Diego Rossi.
You need to. I mean, Sebastian Salazar mentioned this on our show. I mean, they're starting to go raid South America, right, for talent. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So why not get a South American-inspired coach? Or
we're talking about South Americans here. I feel like a lot of them are Spanish-speaking. We haven't really dipped our toes into Brazil, the biggest South American country.
It's like a Portuguese, like a Gio Saravese in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Speaks like what, 4 or 5
languages.
That's what Stover was saying.
But the thing about it, FC Dallas, you watch the pregame video, whatever they show. It's part in Spanish, part in English.
The team is predominantly Spanish. This is someone who's been in the locker room week in and week out. Oscar answers questions in Spanish all the time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players answer just questions exclusively in Spanish. It's almost like you're in a locker room from like in a Spanish club. I think it's good if you're a player coming in from a Spanish-speaking country because you're gonna feel right in.
Right, you'll feel more like at home.
You'll feel very comfortable. I think that's what attracts these players to come to these clubs. That's my guess. I mean,
yeah, no, I agree. I'm just comparing, say, like with Brad Friedel at the Revs or Bob Bradley at LAFC.
Okay, Steve, let me ask you this. Sorry to interrupt you. Do you think this transfer is bigger than the Beckham transfer?
This is Beckham 2.0. Because Beckham, if we don't have Beckham, this league is dead.
Yeah.
Okay? Beckham changed the dynamic. Beckham was a superstar. He was on the Ellen Show. He did stuff with Jimmy Fallon. Like, not necessarily back then, but you know who David Beckham is. Now, he did a great job marketing himself, and there was a huge market. Now, his ongoing transfer saga, but the ongoing club saga with Miami FC and with MLS is a disaster. But he changed the fundamentals of MLS, and the designated player spot, the Beckham rule, was created because of David Beckham. This here, however, is going after youngsters, and we're using MLS to become a stepping stone, right, to get to Europe. Sadly enough, I don't ever see MLS competing with the Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A.
I think
I think they can
but it's going to
compete.
take a while.
I don't think so because there's too much